Welcome to Ofofo Studio. My guest for today is Mohit Kohli from Foresiet. Foresiet is into risk and threat intelligence. Mohit, how did it start? How did it come up to be the way it is right now?
Thanks, Angad, for inviting Foresight and me on the platform. The journey so far, right? I was working with the corporate organizations for almost 20 years. And then I realized there is a need for a strong, connected cybersecurity solution. That's the time 3 years back we started this company with the aim and mission to safeguard organizations and nations from these targeted attacks.
Right.
So we typically don't want to solve a very small subset of a problem. We want to bring value to a customer as part of our co-create model. We understand what customer is looking for rather than what we want to build, right? At the same time, we want to bring more value to a nation, to a community, and as part of our continuous effort, we were able to bring lot of scenarios wherein the organizations and nations are getting benefited out of it.
Right. But why did you choose this problem?
All right, so there are a lot of issues, right? If I give you a little perspective, right? Every organization has 70 to 18 vendors supporting a complete cybersecurity journey,
Right.
and cybersecurity cannot be handled in a isolation.
Right.
It needs to have a very connected ecosystem which can bring value to a customer, right? When it comes to us, what we thought, organizations typically face a lot of challenge when it comes to predicting a cyber attacks.
Yeah.
We were always at the other side of a journey wherein we were detecting a cyber attack. We thought, why can't we have a mechanism in place which can predict a cyber attack, which can quantify a risk, just like a thermometer, right?
Yeah.
You use thermometer to measure a temperature.
Right.
Similarly, this platform, this solution will empower customers, CISOs, while they are talking to board of directors, what risk they carry at runtime and how secure they are, how much attracted they are from a threat actor perspective.
Right. Right. So I was just going through the website, Mohit, and it said that Foresight is the only three-dimensional solution that exists out there, right? What makes a solution two-dimensional, and how is Foresight different?
All right. So typical vendors, if you go out and explore, they handle or they support one dimension, right? Which means these are point solutions, right? So we thought, why can't we have a complete view, holistic view to a end customer to see how they are perceived, right? More from outside in, second is inside out, and third is outside out. And we bring these three elements together, which gives a 360-degree visibility.
What's the difference between those three?
Okay,
Yeah.
so outside out will give you a perspective what hacker sees about your organization,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
What all vulnerable assets you have. If there are any social engineering attacks which are getting originated, how can you identify the online frauds? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Inside out basically gives you a perspective which are your vulnerable employees, right? How are you shaping up with regards to compliance standards?
Right.
More from people process technology,
Yeah.
right? And the third element which talks about is outside out, wherein what these threat actors are doing, how they are trying to target organizations, what are the TTPs. So in nutshell,
What are TTPs? I'll just request you to break down some of the things because,
Right.
like, some of our viewers and listeners, they're not very savvy.
So TTP is typically tool technology process which threat actors typically leverage, right? These are very smart people, and at the same time they are lazy as well. So in a nutshell, right? If you see a threat actor, they typically don't bypass or try to bypass your firewall. They will identify a loophole. A loophole could be your employee, right?
Right.
And the TTP could be as simple as sending a malicious link,
Yeah.
which can basically translate either grabbing a credential of employee or deploying some kind of ransomware, malware in the workstations, and that's how the complete flow going to happen.
Got it. Got it. So, Mohit, usually when you start tackling a problem, right, there has got to be an experience that you have had that starts it,
Right.
right? Okay, I faced this issue. I was able to find a solution for this person for that. Now let me scale it and make it a company.
Right.
Was there a situation like that for you?
Uh, In a sense, right? So in my whole career, I was aligned with cybersecurity. I started my journey with cybersecurity.
What was your first job?
It was managing a IT and cybersecurity infrastructure.
Okay.
So I worked with Siemens, Tech Mahindra, Rolta, and Accenture. Before starting Foresiet, I was working with Accenture, handling their global delivery center in Bangalore.
Nice.
Right. Now, so coming back to what was the question?
That's like, is there an experience that led you to start this company and start tackling this problem at a whole?
Right, right. So as part of my career, right, I have supported largest organization in globe. I used to travel a lot, right? And what I realized, a lot of organizations have a lot of solutions and multiple solutions for the same problem,
Right.
right? And they don't know whether they are using those solutions in a right way, right? Second challenge is the integration challenge. These are point solution. Every solution will have their own dashboard, but there is no context sharing, right?
Right.
And if you ask a CISO, so many a times when I interacted with CISO, right, the typical problem is how confident you will not get breach,
Right.
very difficult to answer because you don't have a centralized mechanism.
Yeah.
Right, you don't have a centralized context, you don't know what risk you carry. And
Yeah.
that's where we started with very small, right? I mean, to be honest with you, we have not started with the complete platform when we started 3 years back. We took one small problem,
Yeah.
and then while we started building it, we realized, oh, this use case can also be incorporated.
Right.
And now, as part of a platform, we have 6 different modules which are stitched together. We are providing a complete end-to-end visibility.
Nice. What was the first uh, solution that you started with?
Right. So first solution was, let me just give you a perspective, right? It started 5 years back.
Okay.
I got an email from a threat actor, right, on my Gmail account saying your breach, your credential is breach. Okay, and I was like in a panic mode, right?
Yeah.
And then I started doing my research, and then I came to know that this is a phishing campaign,
Yeah.
right? The threat actor had my old credential, very 5 year 10-year old credential, but when you look at the credential, you feel, oh, this is genuine mail,
Right.
and that's the time I started thinking this could be a scenario with all the consumers, right?
Yeah.
People like you and me. And then we started building a solution wherein we can proactively inform customers if their credentials are leak, right? So that was a very basic element we started with. And then the risk scoring part, the threat intelligence, and all that module started coming up together.
Got it. Who were some of your first customers?
Right. So I was lucky in a sense. Our first customer was an international customer in Saudi.
Okay.
And they trusted us, right? And till now, they are our customers. And Angad, just to give you a perspective, right? The analogy is very simple at Foresight. We value each and every customer, whether it's small or big. And as a result of that, till now, three and a half, 4 years now, we have 100% customer retention.
That's amazing, man. Man.
So that's the value we want to create. We don't want to build something what we feel is right. So as part of this journey, what we have analyzed, right, taking a right feedback from the customer,
Right.
incorporating it, be more agile, because there are a lot of cybersecurity solutions, bigger vendors, right? The difficult challenge is doing a technology shift.
Correct.
For us as a startup, it's far more easy because we have built everything on the latest technology. For us, we can change the technology stack at any given point of time, new functionality at any given point of time.
What are you built on right now?
So the complete platform is built on Azure platform.
Okay.
Right. And then we have a complete big data layer, the ML AI engines, which basically bring those context element to the customer. A typical issue, if I give you a perspective, right, threat intelligence as a concept, if you see market, millions of data will be flooded, right? And if you're a customer, and if you're analyzing that data, the difficult problem is how do you know which data is relevant for you?
Right.
Millions of data, right?
Right.
And you spend a lot of time in unrelated data. So what we have done, we bring out very context specific information which is relevant for you or your organization or your vertical.
Fantastic.
And then focus on those elements, cut down the risk. That's how you are more secure.
Got it. So, typically, your customers are they from? Do they come from a similar background, or do they tend to be from different verticals, or is there a particular industry that you tend to focus on more?
Right. So more from a market traction perspective, right? We started with BFSI. We
Okay.
have a lot of customers in BFSI, international and national level.
Yeah.
We have largest telecom giant. We have largest manufacturing giant.
Amazing.
We have healthcare, life science, you name it, and we have customers, right? So because see, all these vertical will have same cybersecurity problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There would be little different.
Mhm.
Banking will have little difference. However, manufacturing will have little difference.
Yeah.
But our fundamental issue is how can you predict your cyber attacks?
Correct.
Right.
Right. Mm.
That's the element we are bringing onto the market. How you can predict a cyber attack and be rest assured that things are under control. Rather than getting a call at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I am breached.
Yeah.
Nobody would like to do that.
Correct. 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 So how do you be more proactive?
Right.
Like,
So couple of things, right? If I give you a little perspective, all these. So when you implement any technology solution,
Hmm.
in a nutshell, you do a security assessment,
Right.
right? Uh, To identify loopholes, weaknesses. But those are point in time assessment, right? You do VAPT, point in time. You have done today.
Yeah.
You'll do it 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year.
Right.
What will happen between those different time frame,
Yeah.
right? Your vulnerability could exist, things can be exploited and all
Right,
that.
right.
So what we have done a continuous assessment program,
Okay.
which runs 24/7 on behalf of customer, identify the issues, and then alert customers about it. So proactively, we alerting customers. We give a risk scoring,
Mm-hmm.
not just based on high, low, medium,
Mm-hmm.
but we quantify a risk. That is far more important.
How do you do that?
So we have developed our own ML AI engine, own algorithm,
Okay.
which basically takes the input and it classifies. So basically, we run around 150 attack vectors,
Nice.
and based on that, we identify and classify which element is more risky.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give you a little more example, right? Let's say your credential got breached a year back. Is that a risk for you now? No,
No, not
because
yet.
you have a password policy which keep on changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are different filters, rules we have set. The AI engine is also very powerful, which can guide you which are the risky element, right, in your organization as well as outside your organization. So just wanted to give you a little more perspective.
Yeah.
Since we
The
have
outside of the organization part is more interesting.
absolutely. So there are two elements, right?
Right.
One is the risk which are running on social platforms. Just
Yeah.
to give you simple example, let's say you are a bank.
Mhm.
If I create a fake page on social platform saying a new toll-free number of so and so bank,
Yeah. Yeah.
how
yeah.
do you know, right?
Yeah. I've
And-
personally known someone who's fallen for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then these threat actors are very smart, right?
Yeah.
And lazy also. Again, I'm reiterating because they
Yeah.
don't have that much time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
They will be live for 1 or 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Target customers, they are down.
Yeah.
Right. So identifying those frauds element on the social platform is very important.
Right.
At the same time, since you have invited me, I take a privilege to announce our new module for third party risk assessment. So
Congratulations, man.
thank you so
Thank you.
much. So which will help you to identify which are the risky vendors in my complete ecosystem.
Okay.
Right. While you onboard a vendor,
Mm-hmm.
you can, in a click of a button, you know whether this is a risky vendor and whether you want to do a business with them.
Got it. It's like Trustpilot G2.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it gives a risk score to a vendor also. So it is far more easy for an organization because see, if you've seen the last kind of cyber attacks which are happening, right? Solar wind and there are more.
Yeah.
I mean, things are getting cascaded from your complete supply chain.
Right.
And
Right.
if you don't have a right control, even though if you have firewalls and sophisticated tools, if you don't have those elements in place, very difficult to identify those threats.
Correct. Correct. What's some of the feedback that you've received from your customers that helped you pivot your solution?
To give you a more perspective on the feedback, right? We are on Gartner Peer Insight, wherein largest manufacturing giant saying this is an excellent solution. They are using it.
Yeah.
Right. And we were able to replace the larger brands as well.
Okay.
I would not say we are the best. However, we are learning a lot of things from customers, from the industry as well. And at the same time, we are refining it, right?
Yeah.
When we started, to be very candid, right? I don't want to mislead the community. When we
Right.
started, the solution was up and running. But then we thought, why can't we have a continuous method to proactively inform customers saying these are the issues, right?
Yeah.
Just sending one email is not enough.
It's not. Yeah.
Right? So that's the new approach we took, and proactively every 2 days, 3 days, weekly, we inform customers these are the risks, these are the risks, and continuously if that goes in a mind,
Yeah.
customers are more proactive in closing it. Right?
Right,
Buying
right.
a solution is one element,
Right.
but operationalizing that is far more important aspect in today's world.
Got it. Got it. So, within these organizations, who are the people that talking to?
Right. So typically it's a chief information security officer,
Mm-hmm.
right? In certain cases, the marketing element will also come into picture because we have a brand monitoring tool which basically identify the kind of brand abuse.
Okay.
Right.
Oh wow.
Somebody has cloned your website, somebody has taken your logo, trying to do a partnership fraud, and all that fraud element, right? So in a nutshell, CISO would be the one marketing, and ultimately the CIO or CEO will also be responsible for the complete solution.
Great.
But at the same time, right, how this solution is helping as a CISO, right? Because I have been to CISO shoes as well, so I understand that it's a very challenging job, right? To be aligned and continuously know what's happening.
Right.
So this module will empower them to have a very hard pressing discussions with board of directors.
Yeah.
They can demand a fund, they can demand investments, because based on those quantified information,
Right.
they know these are the risks, and then they can present back to the board of directors to seek more investment to streamline the cybersecurity posture of our organization.
Got it. What can a CISO do within an organization to increase awareness about security and privacy among the employees and also, the board?
Right. So the first element is, if I go back, right, we used to feel that deploying a firewall is a done deal.
Yeah.
Now I will not get breached. Things have changed.
Yes.
Right? Technology has advanced. We are so interconnected. We don't know how a threat is translating a bigger cyber attacks in our organization.
Yeah.
And as an employee, right, employees are one of the most exploited element in the complete chain.
Correct.
Right? So we have that anti-phishing shield, which does a behavioral analysis. Right?
Okay.
So it comes with a browser extension, needs to be deployed on the user workstation, and it keeps monitoring a cyber hygiene of an employee.
Okay.
Right? So if, let's say, employee is trying to access some malicious content, it automatically block that user and inform that user saying you are doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Your risk score, your cyber hygiene is bad.
Yeah.
Right. So every time when a user sees that kind of element, a risk score or a cyber hygiene score,
Right.
he or she himself will fine tune his posture.
Correct.
Right. At the same time, we inform the corporate admin, and leveraging these technology solutions, right, the organization can cut down the effort on performing the cyber awareness training.
Yeah.
Right? Because these are 5 or 6 risky users in my element, right? Perform those awareness training on them, and then be rest assured.
Got it. How big is your team right now, Mohit?
So we are around 25 people team, very passionate about technology. Day in, day out, we talk about cybersecurity only. So nothing else we talk.
Okay. And how are the responsibilities divided?
So we have 3 or 4 segment, right? One is the technology aspect, wherein we build a lot of technology element.
Yeah.
Second is the research, which is far more important for us to identify what's happening outside, right? Take those use cases back to a solution, refine it, and then publish, right?
Got it.
And then we have an operational team. We basically analyze the queries from the customer.
Okay.
So touch wood, right? People keep asking me, oh, if you're running a OEM, if you're an OEM, or it would be very difficult or challenging to support your customers.
Correct.
Right? I mean, our journey was a little different, right? I mean, the kind of platform we have built so far, we are not seeing that kind of support calls, right?
Yeah.
The reason could be different, right? Either the platform is good,
Yeah.
or the kind of awareness we are building as part of our onboarding is very smooth. However, I would not say there are no queries. Of course, there would be a query,
Right.
but I mean, the support tickets are not that big.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. How do people reach out to you? How do they get in touch with Foresight or Mohit?
Right. So it's very simple. They can reach out to www.foresight.com. We are very available on LinkedIn and Marketplace as well. So these are the three models. They can reach out to us, and we are happy to solve each and every one's problem. Right. Up till now, I was more talking to the enterprise side of a journey.
Right.
Right. We were soon going to launch a consumer solution as well.
Oh.
At the same time, we are supporting national level initiatives. So during various G20 summit, we were helping federal government to identify the targeted threats during G20 summits. So I mean, in a nutshell, we are very proactive in terms of giving feedback to federal government or federal agencies as well, the kind of frauds we are seeing.
Nice, nice. So what else is on the future roadmap? I did not know about like a consumer facing solution that's coming out. What else is there?
So in a nutshell, right, as I said, consumer is one part of a journey.
Yeah.
Right, because these are the soft target. They don't know.
Right.
And just to give you a little more context, I mean, one day, I got 5 or 6 calls. One from Chandigarh, one from Bangalore, and there are 3 more as well. And all of them were talking about, we got breached. How can we come and meet you? I said, you need to tell me your problem.
Right.
Meeting and personally meeting would be a little difficult.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, the
Was it the same problem that all the people?
More or less.
Okay.
More or less. Cybersecurity. I am breached. Somebody is using my phone. I don't know. They are doing this. Somebody has cloned my data. I mean, all that, right?
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So we need to empower our consumers also, how they can defend themselves from these targeted attacks.
Yeah.
And when I say targeted attacks, threat actor doesn't mean threat actor sitting in Russia targeting you. Threat actor could be somewhere a neighbor targeting you.
Correct,
Right?
right.
So we need to be a little more vigilant how we communicate and how we use internet. Right? We need to have very strong cyber hygiene while using it as part of a journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is the consumer facing solution?
So this the phishing shield which I was talking about.
Yeah.
So we want to take it to a consumer.
Okay.
Which will basically gives a lot of context, right?
Okay.
The social engineering attacks prevention. It will give you a perspective about whether their IDs, their credential, their persona is breached in some way.
Oh, wow.
Right? There are a lot of elements we are stitching together, wherein they can see how they're performing over the time. Right?
Okay.
So all that element will help them in order to refine it.
Correct. Correct. And that also gets you more information
Absolutely.
to better your product.
Absolutely. So that's the future roadmap what we have, and at the same time, as I said, national level initiatives we are supporting, right?
Yeah.
And
What's that like? Like let's go into that.
so basically, we want to bring a. So if I have to give little more perspective on national level initiatives, right? Right. So as part of a national level initiatives, we are supporting a lot of government agencies. This platform runs 24/7. It scans the complete internet, deep web, dark web, and it identify the elements which are risky in nature for a national level programs. Right. I mean, I can't disclose everything on this platform, but we are seeing so much data which is coming to us, which can even identify a person sitting at neighboring country what kind of search they have made.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just giving a perspective.
Yeah.
So there are different aspects, different informations we are fetching, right? And those information down the line would be shared with these federal agencies so that we are able to safeguard our nations from these targeted campaigns.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
And these targeted campaigns are not just performed by single entity. Group of hackers across the globe trying to target you or your organizations, your critical assets. So that's the element we need to bring on the platform.
Got it. So on the platform, let's talk about it a little more. What are the current offerings that are there on Foresight?
Right. So Angad, we have 6 different modules, right, which are stitched together. Now, if I'm a consumer or if I'm a customer, I can either opt for a complete platform or I can pick and choose individual modules, right? So these 6 element, if I want to give you detailed analysis, one is DigiRisk module, which quantify a risk, which gives you a risk score, a number, right? Then we have a brand reputation module, which basically identify the kind of frauds which are happening on social platforms. If your employee has exposed your code repository, right, so and so forth, and code repository may have your API key, your credentials, and stuff like that. Just to give you one more context, right? I mean, as part of our due diligence, we analyzed one of the world largest organization, right? Their source code were exposed, right? And as part of a source code, their VAPT API key was exposed, right? What does that mean? If I'm a hacker using that API key, I can get a complete perspective, the kind of vulnerability the customer has, and it is far more easy to exploit. I don't need to do scanning, right?
Right.
So that kind of issues still persist.
Yeah.
And then we inform customer and they were like, oh, thank you, we were not knowing. I mean, Fortune 500 customers or 100 customers having the same problem.
Yeah.
Right? So that's brand reputation module. Then we talked about phishing shield, which basically help identifying the kind of phishing campaigns, behavioral analysis on the employee. Then we have a attack surface monitoring solution, which runs 24/7 behalf of customer. Identify the kind of issues you have within your infrastructure, within your application, right? It runs continuously. I talked about point in time, right?
Yeah.
That was a problem. So using this, the point in time assessment can be, you can ignore those issues.
Right.
It basically gives you a perspective about your operational challenges, like the kind of ports you have opened. You should not be opened. We were working with one of the customers. The database port was exposed to the internet without authentication.
Wow.
Right. So that kind of element we are bringing in. Then we have threat intelligence, which is dark web monitoring. We analyze the threat actors. We scan dark web. We bring out a lot of elements which are important for an organization, for a verticals, and for a nations, right? To counter, like your credentials are getting sold on dark web.
Yeah.
Very easily. Very easily. Your debit card, credit card getting sold
For as low as $50.
Yeah, not $50. I have seen in $5, less than cost of a burger.
Okay.
Right? So very easy.
Yeah.
Right? And then we have another solution, which is compliance solution, wherein you can do your assessment against multiple standards.
Right.
Right? And then you can bring your third party as part of that assessment, and you can analyze how third party is behaving. Right? So it's a complete workflow driven engine, very context specific solution. The unique part is each and every module feeds some data to another module. Right? That's the thing I was talking about. Context specific information is very relevant in today's world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this complete platform is complete AI driven engine, which not only identify and detect the incident, it also identify, detect, protect, forecast, and recover from the incident as part of a complete journey.
That's amazing, Mohit.
And the biggest part of this solution is zero code change. We can go live in 30 minutes.
Wow. That's very unusual.
Yeah. So because if I talk about any security implementation, right?
Yeah.
Cost of a product is X. Implementation is super expensive and time consuming.
Right.
So that's the one area we wanted to cut down.
That's amazing, Mohit. Any closing remarks before we end this?
No, I mean, if you feel and you want to evaluate your cybersecurity hygiene, where you stand in terms of cyber risk, do reach out to us, and we'll be very happy to basically help you in order to bring out those specific incidents which may impact your organization. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mohit.
Thanks.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.